All right.
Uh,
So, um, today I'm going to be doing most of the talking. I recommend that you interrupt me. We're going to move along, but interruptions to put points in or quick questions. There's going to be time at the end for feedback and questions. Um, so, this is for both people who are just interested in more vitality while you're alive or in the possibility of really going for being a centurist. So, a centurist is a word I coined, and it's the definition of is someone who lives inside the context and intention that their life in this world is going to be expressed and played out over the course of centuries and even millennia. This contrasts with the historical context in which people viewed their lifespan in terms of years or decades. And so, um, actually, when I did this definition it was back in June of 2024, but now, I'm just a little bit shy of 18 years, or more than 8 years, 18 years to reach my first century. So, uh, one of the reasons you might think, well, a lot of people say, well, is this really possible today? But because the oldest person in recorded history so far has been a French lady hit 122, and that was it. Okay. So, but so it's going to really need some scientific breakthroughs. But if we can reach that point where those breakthroughs occur, then there's something's going to occur called the longevity escape velocity. And that's when the amount of enhanced lifespan per year is equal to at least 1 year. Okay. And so, if you can be in fairly good health when that arrives, then there's good reasons that you can start thinking about how many centuries you want to go for. And here are three different people in the longevity area that done a lot of thinking about it. Ray Kurzweil, he's the most optimistic in thinking the longevity escape velocity will occur somewhere between 2029 and 2035. Then a guy named Audrey DeGray, he thinks it'll be mid 2030s, which is a little bit so upper range of this one. Another more conservative guy, he's a Harvard geneticist. He thinks it's going to be around 2050. But now for the younger people here, you keep yourself in good health, you're going to likely reach this area. But for those of us like Dorothy and Frank and me and
right.
maybe David, we may have to work at this and do what we can do now so we can stay in pretty good health to get there. Okay, so let's look at the multiple cofactors for what I consider the cofactors for being a centurist, or what we can use to really enhance this. So thank God today we've got AI. I know you can do a lot of stuff without AI, but it's, oh my God. Remember in the back of the days when we only had Google, right? You know, so
Yes.
here, I
Most
mean, the ones I'm using are Claude AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and sometimes DeepSeek. Okay.
yes.
Now, there's four basic causes. I'm going to divide death into four causes, disease, accidents, suicide, and murder. So here, at least in the US, the statistics come out to be about 90.5% of deaths from disease, 7.2% from accidents, 1.6% from suicide, 0.7% from murder. Okay. Now, if you just sort of calculate, what if we get rid of disease? Okay, what would happen then? Well, roughly, it depends upon how you calculate. You could expect the average lifespan to between 1,000 and 1,500 years. Or on the conservative side, if you're just really more careful, we're talking about 8,000 to 9,000 years. If assuming you didn't do much to really significantly reduce accidental deaths. But it just gets you we need to, sure, you want to avoid, I mean, I'm always wearing the seatbelts when I get in the car. And here in Vietnam, I'll never ride a motorbike, you know. Um, but you may even want to focus on, disease. And so, something to be really clear about is doctors in medicine, they're not trained in prevention. They're trained in like trying to help you once you've fallen over the cliff, okay, instead of staying away from the cliff. And so I think in all the years that are doctor studies, maybe they have 8 weeks of nutrition type stuff, okay? So they're remedially oriented. You need to become the expert on being preventative, And sure, you want to use doctors, and they're maybe pretty good at diagnosis, but in terms of treatment, you want to make sure that you do your own homework, in that. And so I'm always using the AI when I consult with a doctor for second opinions. So the next area, of course, is nutrition, fitness, sleep, and then get medical checks, checking out symptoms, catching things early when they do occur, and then finally there's going to be, these are not quite here yet, but forthcoming technologies. Like they're beginning to grow new teeth in Japan, and also something called CRISPR, where they actually be able to do gene editing to possibly like stop aging itself, because aging itself has been identified as a disease, which makes all other disease pretty much more likely. And so when they can use a CRISPR type technology or gene type technology to reverse that, then, but that's coming pretty soon, but it's not really here yet. So we need to rely on these other things first. And so I want to share a song with you about what I'm calling the foundations of the foundations here. So you can hear that? Right. Hearing that? Okay.
Yes.
We build the mind with care and might, with playful steps that feel just right. But body too must be aligned. Its health sustains the growing mind.
Nutrition, fitness, sleep each day shape how we think, move, work and play. If mind's the flame and thought the spark, the body's strength must feed the art.
To know what's true in food and rest, I've searched through studies, tried the best. From Gregor, Furman, Robbins too, came clues on what the bodies do.
I've tested meals and movement schemes and chased longevity in dreams. The daily dozen shapes my plate with plants that heal and guard my faith.
Not every trend or fit physique means health is strong or system sleek. Fit isn't healthy, not by rule. Let logic be your testing tool.
Red light and eat the shortest sprints, restore, rebuild with subtle hints. And when the night brings healing deep, let sacred rhythms shape your sleep.
Nutrition, fitness, sleep each day shape how we think, move, work and play. If mind's the flame and thought the spark, the body's strength must feed the art.
Okay. Um, and back to here. Um, one thing I neglected to mention up here is it's, it's so important to be loving your life today because you're not going to have much motivation to keep going if you're not loving today and loving the games of life. Just like, oh my God, just more time for more great games in life. So just want to show you this is just a recent image of one of my meals. Now you can't, most of this actually is beans here underneath. You can't see the beans here. Here's some enoki mushrooms on the top here and some broccoli you see. So this is my main meal flavored up. And then this smoothie contains black rice. It contains blueberries. I think a little bit of raspberries. I use some stevia for sweetener and got one or two. No, I know I put a Brazil nut in for my selenium. So it's a very just tasty smoothie there I have there that I was able to fix up in about 3 or 4 minutes from just the stuff in my freezer and my refrigerator because I always have pre-cooked black rice in my refrigerator. And here's my HIIT. They've discovered that 20 super intense seconds 3 times a day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, is equivalent to 150 minutes weeks of regular exercise in terms of keeping you generally fit. And so this, I've got these 3 kilogram weights, and I'm just doing super fast in the rebounder, and I have my assistant timing me, counting down 19, 18, 17, 16, no, counting down the seconds, because boy, I tell you, by the end of that 20 seconds, I'm very happy to rest. And then also another technology I use, this is a full body vibration machine. And I have this at my stand-up desk. So a lot of times, actually, I could stand in it right now. And whoops, wait, I dropped my controller. And anyway, so yeah, maybe you can even hear my voice vibrate. So I can stand on this thing and I can do my work at the same time. It's actually done scientific studies that it really is a good workout, So maybe do 30 minutes of this day just without, it's like I call it the lazy man exercise. And then sleep here. In this particular case, I had some edema problem in my feet because of varicose veins, and so I have an elevated bed here. So to help the blood go there, but also have a weighted blanket. This is a weighted blanket. So there's studies been done about it, and I can really experience when I put that weighted blanket on at night, it helps me to sleep much better, And here I get regular periodic blood tests here in Vietnam. This guy comes in for about $3, comes in and gets my blood out, gives me blood tests. Here I'm tracking using the different AIs. I've determined what are the essential things that are important to track to really know that you're on track in terms of your blood sugar, your cardiovascular disease issues, your immune system, stuff like that. So these are the basic things that are most important to track. Okay, over here. Now, this is the hospital range. Okay, hospital range doesn't necessarily mean the best range or the optimal range. So I've done research to find out what's the optimal for me in these various tests. Okay. And one I want to point out significantly, where I've made significant progress on, is my LDL cholesterol. Whoops, wait, what happened here? Okay, LDL. So LDL, generally speaking in the US, they say your LDL should be under 100. Well, that's better than above 100, but pretty much unless your LDL is like 80 or 75 or even down to 70, you're probably you have some chance of stroke or heart attack. But if you can get it down to like 75 or 70, then you can pretty much guarantee there's no heart attacks or strokes. And currently, um, I'm using part of my supplements here. Okay, I have my supplements so here on the right, and I've been using and I've been to get my LDL more down. I've been advised to increase. I've used 30 grams of ground flaxseed daily. Okay. And I've also combined that with 10 grams of psyllium husks. So these are specifically oriented towards getting the LDL down. Okay. And so currently I've got it down to 87.8. I mean, most doctors in America would say, "Hey, you don't even need to look at that anymore." But no, I'm going to get it down below 75. So, but I'm going in the right directions. Okay. Now, what are the results that I've noticed personally from this so far? I have these assistants that are generally in the early 20s that go out with me, and I'm walking around with them, and they're getting tired, and I just keep going. It's like, and it's no wonder, given what they eat, that they are getting tired. So I'm sure there's other factors maybe involved, but it's just amazing to me how, hey, why you need to stop already, And now here, this is a result of my I'm showing off my biceps here. Not quite Arnold Schwarzenegger, but this is a result of my HIIT, with those weights there. And then I want to share another thing with you, and then finally a song. But to share this other thing with you, I need to, I think as a result of all the stuff that I do, is going to require I take my headphones off for a second, and then I'll show you, and then I'll put the headphones back on. Okay. Okay, so my balance is pretty good. And let's see here. And then we've actually gone through this quicker than I thought. Of course, we can go back with any questions afterwards and whatever that takes, but let's share this final song. Now, this also, this song relates to, especially to enjoying your life, like enjoying your life and getting there, and actually even your chances of getting, like, the reason I'm able to eat as healthy as I do is I've spent a lot of time working on making it tasty. Okay, so I found out how to make healthy stuff tasty. If you don't make it tasty, you can't. It's going to be hard to keep going, right? So. This is part of that.
Before the seeds are pressed and ground, let's till our fields where joy is found. The way we walk, the work we weave, become the fruits we will receive.
Heard you.
Put journey first before that prize.
For living well is truly wise. Is yours to take.
It's guaranteed.
With this is your life's design. It flows in now, not just future's time. Enjoy arrives as you pursue, and not just if results ensue.
The journey first before that prize.
For living well is truly wise. For much of gain you dream to see is yours to take.
It's guaranteed.
For paths there are in simple view. No joy,
No win.
then you've been screwed.
No joy.
Then win a Pyrrhic cheer.
With joy.
No win, life's always dear.
With joy, then win.
Life's richest art
Just put your horse.
before your card.
Design your ways so they beguile.
Procrastinating's out of style. An easy journey, your hands persist. No need to quit as joy insists.
Put journey first.
Before that prize for living well is truly wise. For much of vain you dream to see is yours to take.
It's guaranteed.
From tender years you learned to trade your inner joy for grades and praise. In good and bad you staked your name, outsourced yourself to win some fame.
You fear the blame.
The loss, the ban,
You chase results.
to prove you can.
Short-term power.
Sweet and fast echoes that tribal survival's task. Choose courage, break that flimsy wall. You need no praise to stand up tall. Reclaim the soil beneath your feet. The process calls your sweetest treat.
The journey first before that prize.
For living well is truly wise. For much of gain you dream to see is yours to take. It's guaranteed.
Okay. Questions, comments, feedbacks?
Dwight, one of and I'm thinking especially for those that are younger here, but one of the things that I have a sort of a metaphor or an image of, I did a lot of work with people who doing research on the treatment of Parkinson's, and they kept focusing on that they saw three things, and I think this applies to longevity, and that is the first thing is they develop techniques or things that slows the progression, for example, of Parkinson's. So I think the same concept is true with the longevity gene, that there'll be progress made to slow the progression. And I think in all diseases like cancer treatment, it's been pretty remarkable how the longevity and the treatments of cancer have really reduced the amount of deaths. So that's the first thing. The second is they get it to the point of where it stops advancing. In other words, it gets so far, but it stops advancing. And then, of course, the Holy Grail is how do you then reverse?
Yes.
Not just stop, but how do you reverse?
Yes.
And I think, my impression is that if you ask, scientists or geneticists or people who work on it, they do believe they'll achieve all of that. They just have different beliefs as to whether it's 2050 or 2035 and so forth.
Well, what you said about reversal is true for things. What you just said is, but there's some things that actually can be reversed now that most doctors don't even know about. For example, type 2 diabetes. can be
That's
pretty
true.
much reverse with diet.
Diet,
Okay.
yeah.
hmm so that can be already done if you're not with medicine, but with diet, so, okay, please, anything else? Thank you. Frank, anything else?
Nope, nope.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who else? Any other questions or comments or yes buts? If you have some sort of you think something where I've not pointed out something important here or that you could take exception with or whatever. David?
Yeah, so three things. One, David Sinclair,
Yes, I know
with
him.
Lifespan with David Sinclair. I know that you talked about that years ago, but he has started up his podcast series again. So you
Oh,
might want to rejoin that.
okay. That's good to know.
So
Yeah, David, what was the name of his book, David?
I don't remember,
Okay, yeah,
but his podcast is Lifespan with
right.
David
Yeah,
Sinclair.
yeah. I think that's it. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Lifespan. Okay.
Yep.
Um,
Let's see. Another, um, I guess this was basically a TED talk that I heard this week about mouth breathing versus nose breathing, and just how mouth breathing is absolutely awful for your health, and
mm,
that, and they went through lots of different studies that have shown that. So
hmm hmm
everyone start breathing through your nose now.
Does that mean we have to stop talking?
Well, you have to stop breathing while you're talking.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And the
Okay.
last thing is something I need to research some more. But it was new news to me about mitochondria. In particular, they were talking about in the brain.
Mhm.
What was it called? Um, well, I don't know, remember the name of the field, but it was just how important the mitochondria are, not just for producing power, which is what people typically think, but it generates hormones and all sorts of other things. So the mitochondria actually are really important
Mhm.
in regulating things, and this is stuff that's new. It wasn't there when I was growing up a biologist.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to do some more research on what exactly the mitochondria do, because it sounds like they're actually really important, and taking
Yes.
care of them is really important.
Yep. Yep. Those mitochondria, I've heard a lot about them.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Yes, Rosia.
I'm into fasting, so I definitely believe that the body has the ability to regenerate itself. I just came out of a 74-hour fast,
74.
and
Wow.
74-hour, and that's minimum. And so I typically go up to 3 to 5 days. I'm sorry, 5 to 7 days, and just the mental clarity, the way that my body feels is pretty amazing. So highly into that, and definitely believe love what you're doing, the whole body rebounding and whole body vibration. I've been practicing that since 2012, rebounding for 30 years,
Really? Oh
but
my God.
whole
Okay.
body vibration for the last 14 plus years.
Uh-huh.
And I know the difference that it makes. I should have been in a wheelchair when I started rebounding. And here I am. I get to be walking, happy, healthy, and I believe that there's so many things. So I definitely agree with you, Dwight. The what you're doing is inspirational. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you. And on your fasting, is that, it's a strict water fast or more? Or...
It's a strict water fast, and at times I do add a combination of items to cleanse myself. For instance, I'll take apple cider vinegar as well as taking chia seed, apple cider vinegar with salt, lemon, and warm water. The body accepts it even more in that way. So that's my.
I know I have real difficulty with just water fast, but I could say again,
Go ahead.
Roshi.
No, go ahead. You're into the water.
I have difficulty with just the water fast, but when I've done fasting, I do like with usually raw vegetable juice. Like if I like only raw vegetable juice, and then that's the way I can fast and feel good, you know.
And there's many ways of fasting. I have fasted with fruits and vegetables. I have fasted with juices. I have fasted with honey. I have fasted with many different things. You don't want to lose muscle during your fast because you do run a risk of doing that, and muscle is important. So if anybody ever has any questions, I also do liver, gallbladder, spleen cleanses. I've been practicing those for 15 years as well. And so I practiced quite a few things since my mid 20s and food since 15 years of age. So
Currently, I essentially do a fast from my last meal of the day is usually around 4 or 5, and my first meal of the day is usually around 10 a.m. So from 4, to 10 a.m. What is that? 10 to 4. That's about 18-hour fast, 16 to 18. So I typically do that almost every day myself, And
I noticed the difference to doing the 18. I do 18 to 20 hour fast with a 4 to 6 hour eat window, depending on what I'm doing. And I notice the difference between the performance of my body. I know that if I'm getting puffy or systemic inflammation, I got to drop everything and start going to a fast immediately. And I've noticed that coming out of it, I look like I've lost at least 10 pounds. And that was almost immediate. Within 24 hours, I had released a minimum of 5+ pounds because of the inflammation, the systemic inflammation.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sergio.
Follow up.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, just follow up on that because she reminded me that the fasting was one of the things that helps the mitochondria. That was one of the things they talked about. And David Sinclair, and I think his guest was talking about fasting also, about the minimum 18-hour fast. So it's out there.
Yes, and then you also get autophagy, which means that the body starts recycling the cells. That could only happen after 36 hours plus. They say that you can reverse Alzheimer's with a 72-hour fast. But who's willing to do something like that? We don't practice that in our society. I wholeheartedly believe in things like that. So wherever thinking mental clarity starts coming in at about 36 hours, hunger pains start going away about 24 to 36 hours as well.
Yeah, I've noticed how the hunger goes away after that period of time. Yeah. Most of it. Sergio, what's your input on this? You're new here. I think the first time here, right?
Thank you. So first of all, the Joy song for the chorus being ahead of the card, the song is very core to who I am. So so that strikes me as kind of fundamental. Well, at least it's fundamental to my life. That whole concept of, in fact, about 9 years ago, I set up a mission that was, by the way, in a landmark program. I set up a mission for myself professionally, and the mission was to restore joy in humane performance for entrepreneurial leaders.
Okay.
So, and everything that I've done since, professionally speaking, had to satisfy this criterion. There has to be,
So
emanate.
you gotta have joy while you're building your business, right? We don't do it otherwise. Is that what you're saying?
Well, actually, more than that. I've been doing what I'm doing now for 13 years now, and then I did something related before that. But I've been an entrepreneur and a coach for 3 decades now, and obviously for the past 13 years I've worked with about 80 companies, small, medium-sized companies as clients. And one thing that I notice talking to probably a couple of thousand of CEOs, including my clients, but also prospects and other people, is that in most cases, people, work with absolutely no joy. You walk into one of those companies and you see people stressed out.
Yeah.
I mean, all levels of it. So, of course, there are many sources for that particular state of affairs. But uh, honestly, people need to get coached on how to restore joy to themselves to begin with. Never mind to restore joy to their organization if you are essentially a leader, and so forth. So, before I get off this topic and say a second thing, is that I tell people, founders and CEOs of companies. I said, well, when you started your business, where was your intention to become a firefighter? And of course, the answer is always no. I said, but that's what you spend 80% or more of your time putting out fires, as opposed to having the joy of actually running the business or growing it or whatever the noise is. And most people are like, wow, that's actually quite true. Never thought about talking about, the blind spots. So with respect to the longevity side, I'm actually very much, for the kinds of things that you're doing, Dwight, vis-a-vis testing and doing. I mean, we have now tools that we never had
True.
3 years up to 3 years ago, right?
Yep.
That know everything that has been published somewhere, somehow, they know of. Now, of course, they don't know what's in the mind of my primary health physician, who's been my physician for 37 years. So that's another aspect of it. There's the contextual part. So, and I advocate, keeping the human in the loop. But before you go to the human, you can actually be an educated patient or whatever client or whatever you are by doing that kind of research. And as you put it out, I mean, AI, I think I mentioned to him several times, is part of what I do now. I teach AI, am an AI consultant, et cetera, et cetera. So I know that what the power is to actually do, true research, but it has to be we the humans in doing that have to be actually the context givers. You have to give the AI. You can't just go to AI and say, "Hey, what range should my LDL be in?" So, I mean, there is no context for that. I mean, so and probably AI is going to give you the hospital range or some other variation of it. So you have to actually describe who you are and in all kinds of ways that AI has uh, no source for it to get trained on. I mean, they don't know, you know, uh, I mean, they may know now because I've had so many conversations with AI.
They know that they know you. They know to respond to you. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So they know a lot about me, but there are aspects of my, let's say, health history that I don't think have shown up in any AI conversations so far. So they have no idea what happened, what didn't happen, what happened in my childhood, what kind of context I grew up in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's giving a context is very important. And we have to also keep in mind that we retain the judgment of whether the responses that we get
Sure.
are actually good or bad. AI is not going to tell you that. I mean, and I'm setting aside the whole issue of hallucinations and verifying sources and so forth. So that's yet another topic. But ultimately, the actions to take, you know, uh, we are ultimately the arbiters of that. We
Well,
the humans.
maybe a good example of that when I'm getting coaching on my supplements with currently I'm using ChatGPT, but probably go Claude. But in my supplements, it's like it'll say this and this. I say, hey, but you need to balance. I don't want to make it too complicated. In other words, it'll tend to give you like the optimum, but it doesn't factor in the, hey, how easy is it going to be to do. So I have to bring it back to the full context. Yeah, good point.
So I recently, so happens, so actually your invitation, Dwight, was, are you starting to read my mind, Mr. Centurist? So I know that we talk every 2 or 3 weeks, but I'm joking, of course. So about I would say 5 days ago, because I walk around, I live near a reservoir here,
You're
300
up in
yards
the
from it.
Boston area, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So Boston, I mean Brighton, Brookline.
Mhm.
So I listen to a lot of books and podcasts while I'm walking, and that kind of stuff. So I happened to be listening out of the blue when I podcast. It was actually one of those TED. There's a program in the US. It's called TED Radio, and essentially it's somebody who gave a popular TED talk, and there's a whole interview about that. So this one was about longevity.
Mhm.
And one of the takeaways from that whole conversation, it was an hour-long conversation, so I'm not going to get into all the stuff, was that, this gentleman that basically is a researcher and published several books on longevity was saying that some of the actions that people take from advice of, I don't know, their friends or what they read on, social media or whatever to increase their longevity is so misdirected because they end, for example, there's a craze now of using peptides, sort of like what's called health hacking, right? Well, so I am, depending on where you live in the world, but people don't realize that all these peptide, self syringes and so forth, most of them are actually they've never actually done any testing, so the effectiveness is actually very doubtful, as opposed to what a drug, I mean, goes through in terms of verification and so on in a scientific way. And very often, and there have been studies on that, is that they are produced in China, and I have nothing against Chinese, but there have been studies that show that about 87% of them actually do not contain what it says they contain.
Okay. Yep.
So people inject themselves with something that they have no control over.
So, this is really great, and I want to go into some other people now. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to begin to wrap up today. Dorothy, can you come on and give us a few comments? Dorothy, can you hear us?
Hello, Dwight.
Oh, hello.
Long time no see. Yeah, long time no see. Yeah,
Okay.
I want to share your story. When the May Day, during the May Day, I travel to another place. So I stay at the elevator for a long time. The elevator is broke. So I fight. I want to open the elevator door. So I with the foot and hand to want to open the elevator door. So my I found maybe my bone is not good, so I injured my foot. No.
Okay.
No, like this. Yeah. So I found not painful. Yeah. So I stay at the home for a long time, and then I found my foot is wallet and right again. Yeah. So I went to the hospital to see a doctor. The doctor said, "Wow, why do you come here right now?" Yeah, I through the X-ray found my my foot both fighter blood is broken. Is broken, so need to cast
So what is it?
more than 1 year,
Excuse
more
me,
than one month.
wait. Can you tell us the point you want to make? Can you give us the bottom line point, please?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so
what?
right now I can still at the home, can't outside. So
Okay,
I feel very boring. Yeah,
very
maybe
boring.
stay at home 1 month.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
right
I
now.
recommend you can use this time to find some adventure or discovery or learn things in your life. Um,
Yeah.
okay.
So I ask the internet is Dou Bao. Yeah, how to deal with my food? The Dou Bao said, "Wow, I stay at the stop, can't touch the ground."
Mhm. Okay.
So right now I feel very boring. Stay at home for a long time. Yeah.
So thank you for joining us today. And I'm going to go into some other people now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank
I
you.
want to heard other people say something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Uh, Dorothy, are you there yet? Okay. And so let's, Frank, do you want to make any final comments or what's your takeaway from today?
Uh, no, just inspiration of needing to really focus on all the things that you can do to increase longevity. So I figured out I was overweight, and I just asked simple AI, given different BMIs, and that alone added 3.7 years to
Yes.
the the 13.8 years that I was going to live. So, then I'm up to 17. I'm 75 now. So
Yes. Okay.
now I've got it up to 92 years.
Okay. Great.
And I just
Great.
and what's neat is I know, even looking at those longevity scores, you may think that's negative and it's missing the point. But what's neat is every year that goes by, if you manage to still be healthy and you've improved some factors,
Mhm.
instead of it subtracting a year or saying it's the same amount of time, you keep adding more time. You keep adding more time.
That's true. Yep. Good point. Uh,
Everything you improve, cholesterol, BMI,
mhm,
blood pressure, just everything you improve, it adds.
mhm.
It
Yep.
adds. And
Yep.
that's kind of inspirational.
Yep. Thank you. Rocky, uh, are you there? Rocky, can you speak up? Um, Dorothy, are you there? Hmm.
I think Rocky is muted. He's
Yeah.
Oh no, Rocky's now we can hear him, I think.
Okay.
Now,
So,
hello.
Rocky, welcome. Okay.
Hello.
Um,
Because I'm work, so nice to meet you.
okay.
Oh, oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. What did you learn today, Rocky?
Diet meal. Uh, I learned a lot, but I cannot say it clearly. So, and now I need to work now.
Okay. All right.
So,
Thank you for joining us. Next time. Okay. Bye-bye.
okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Bye.
Mhm. Dorothy, can you speak up?
I'm just listening.
Hello.
Hi.
Can we see you?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing you. I hear you, but I don't see you. Dorothy? Okay,
Oh,
there,
yeah, now we do. Yes.
beginning to see you. Yes.
Yeah.
Speak up, Dorothy.
Hi.
Hi. What's your what is your takeaway or feedback from today, Dorothy?
Uh, I, 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 I'm just learning what what this what the idea is for this Centurist Club. Um,
Okay.
I I kind of wonder if I am I have I am I too old to start something that because I am so sleepy all the time.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I mean, we could all even ask that, are we too old for it, Um, and I um I would say my general comment, as long as you're enjoying being alive, okay?
Yeah.
As long as you're enjoying being alive and you can look forward to another day, and we don't know what the chances are, of you, living a year longer or 5 years longer or 10 years longer, but there's nothing, there could be some chance, right? There could be some chance, especially if you do what you can do. And even if you don't make another century, you're probably going to be happier and more healthy, whatever time you have, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does in a sense, but something I have to be more with it. I'm not with it yet.
Okay. Well, uh, step by step, right? You know,
Yeah.
that's how we do life, and you are the way you are.
Yeah.
And right now you're noticing you're sleepy a lot, and
Yeah.
but it could be just a phase, and later you'll be more energetic. You're having trouble hearing?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, but we really appreciate you joining us, Dorothy. Okay.
I,
Thank. Anything else you'd like to say?
do I have the courage to keep going for more than a century?
Well, I I I would just I mean I just take it day by day.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying
That's what I'm
today, and
doing
day
actually.
by day. Hey, but day by day, you you could reach a century or more, right? And be happy. Of course,
Yeah, I am.
being happy. Yeah, great. Yeah, yeah. You inspire me, Dorothy. You inspire me. You know, and also the things you've been learning at 94 and 95.
Dwight, can I
Yes,
tell
But
a 60-second story?
please.
So I had it would be a first cousin, once he was so first cousin of my dad, who lived to be 103.
Okay.
So the last time I saw him, he was not doing too well, but about 4 years prior, when he was something like 98, he
Mhm.
was in perfect condition. I mean, we went out and he lives in Israel, so that was my previous visit.
Okay.
So I told him that Dov, it was his name. I tell all my friends about how you actually stopped playing tennis at age 92.
Okay.
To which he said, well, that's not the most interesting part of the story. The most interesting part of the story is that I started playing tennis at age 73.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Thank you. And David Wheeler, what's your final takeaway from today?
Well, let's see. I liked hearing those statistics about the 8,000 years, 9,000 years. It's like, oh yeah, wow. I mean, I certainly know that there'd be other factors that would come into play, but it really does just inspire me. And then I was really happy that you showed your routine, because again, it's inspiring me to take up some of those things again.
Okay, great. So I want to thank everyone here today. This is I'm going to put this recording on my website. It'll be on the website in a few days. And thank you, and see you next time. Next month, I'll make another announcement when we have the next Centurist Club.
Hey, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank